The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians.
A very good evening to you as we offer you a warm welcome on what has been a wet day at the nation's capital. This is NTA News Top Table, where we go to the length and breadth of the nation to give you the news with the extra touch of fine details. Tonight, some changes in the Federal Executive Council, new helmsmen for ministries of agriculture and power. The Federal Executive Council approves new policy on internally displaced persons. The much-needed peace may soon return to the state called the Home of Peace and Tourism, as Irigwe community and Fulani leaders agree to sign pact on peaceful coexistence. It is a case of go and sin no more for some inmates in Kano. And in agriculture, the key to food security may just be in your backyard. We have a special on urban farming. We also have an eye on business, security, transportation, and healthcare. It is also the World Writing Day. So, dear viewers, this is News Extra, and I am yours sincerely, Fatima Umaruba. I welcome you. The Minister of Agriculture, Muhammad Sabunanono from Kano State, has been relieved of his position. Also affected in the cabinet reshuffle by President Muhammadu Buhari is the Minister of Power, Salim Aman from Taraba State. The special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, announced this while briefing newsmen after the meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adam Osambo has the details.
No reason has been given for the sack of the two ministers of Agriculture and Power who came on board on the 21st of August 2019. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina, however, disclosed that government projects and programs implementation have been subjected to independent and critical self-review. This, he said, helped to identify and strengthen weak areas, close gaps, build cohesion and synergy in governance, manage the economy, and improve the delivery of public good.
And as this administration approaches its critical phase in the second term, I have found it essential to reinvigorate this cabinet in a manner that will deepen its capacity to consolidate legacy achievements. Accordingly, a few changes marking the beginning of a continuous process have been approved. Ministers leaving the cabinet: Mohammed Sabo Nanono, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, and 2, Engineer Salim Aman, Minister of Power.
Consequently, Dr. Muhammad Mahamood, Minister of Environment, has been redeployed to the Ministry of Agriculture, while Abubakar Aliyu, Minister of State for Works and Housing, assumed office as Minister of Power.
In due course, substantive nominations will be made to fill the consequential vacancies in accordance with the requirements of the Constitution.
While reiterating that this process shall be continuous, presidential spokesman Femi Adesina confirmed that President Muhammadu Buhari personally met the departing ministers and thanked them for the invaluable services rendered to the nation. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a new national policy on internally displaced persons in Algeria has been approved by the Federal Executive Council. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, announced this at a media briefing after the meeting of the Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Again, State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports on this and other resolutions adopted by the Cabinet members.
Records show that over 2.3 million Nigerians are presently displaced internally as a result of both man-made and natural calamities. For the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, the new national policy approved by Council is yet another milestone in the nation's drive towards effectively catering for the welfare and well-being of those in need.
The National Policy on Internal Displacements provides a platform for all relevant actors in the humanitarian and development space to key in and contribute towards a common goal. And the overall goal of the policy is to strengthen the institutional mechanism and frameworks for the realization of the rights, dignity, and well-being of vulnerable populations through mitigation of impact and achievement of durable solutions to internal displacement in Nigeria.
Consequently, a multi-sectoral structure will soon be established towards ensuring coordinated operations and strategic response to the nation's humanitarian challenges, especially actionable solution to internal displacement in Nigeria. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola also secured approval for the completion of the ongoing dualization of Odukpane Itu Ikot Ekpene Road at 79.64 billion naira.
When this is done, motorists in that area will now have an option of a dual carriageway instead of the existing single carriageway. And this is in recognition of the heavy cargo that passes through that area from the south-south through to the north-central in Benue, through Katsina-Ala, and through to the southeast to Abia. It's a very, very important trade link for the country.
Multi-billion naira contracts have also been approved for expansion works at Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Katsina airports. This is to enhance service delivery in the nation's aviation industry.
For Lagos, it's for the expansion of terminal building at domestic terminal, GAT. Katsina Airport is expansion of Katsina Airport apron. There is also the expansion of Lagos cargo apron areas.
Also to be expanded is a domestic wing apron of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, as well as that of Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, has been tasked to make more critical investments capable of supporting the nation's economic diversification drive for sustainable future of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari threw the challenge while inaugurating the new board of directors of the authority. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has that too.
The new board of directors, third since the establishment of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority in 2011, is expected to play a part in contributing towards the Buhari administration's agenda of bolstering the economy and broadening the nation's basket of activities beyond oil. Specifically, the board will guide and oversee the authority's management activities towards delivering outcomes that meet the current and future needs of Nigerians.
Your appointment is a call to duty. It is a call to action and it's a call to performance. Some analyst reports are projecting global oil prices could drop to around $40 United States per barrel by 2030. As a board, we want you to plan for change and in doing, prepare the next year to make more investment that support economic diversification.
The federal government, the president explained, is presently operating on the agenda for long-term change, which he described as inevitable, and therefore the board members are required to continue to drive the performance of the authority to deliver benefits to all Nigerians.
You must bear in mind that the National Economic Council, your governing council, and Nigerians as a whole will hold you accountable for this mandate. The bar before you is very high, and all of us are counting on you to deliver. If you do, I assure you that government and indeed all Nigerians will be unflinching in their support for you.
So far, President Buhari said the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority has discharged its mandate dutifully, hence prioritizing the appointment of the new board so that the authority does not lose steam in sustaining efforts at transforming the fortunes of the country. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed that from the base position of $1 billion in 2015, when the Buhari administration came to power, the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority now has $3.5 billion in assets under management.
As the supervising minister, my mandate to the new board is to keep moving the NSIA success story forward based on the authority's mandate with integrity, keeping the NSIA relevant, practical, and valuable for all stakeholders within and outside our country.
We are very well aware that this is a very huge task as a board. And so our plan is to ensure that we continue to push on those infrastructure projects, those social impactful projects, and all other projects that will further enhance the economic well-being of Nigeria. So that is the assurance we'd like to give Mr. President.
Financed through the Nigeria Infrastructure, Future Generations and Destabilization Funds, the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority supports investments in critical infrastructure, the needs of the nation's future generations, as well as the economy in times of stress. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has promised support of the federal government to Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State towards sustaining efforts at maintaining peace and security, as well as enhancing socio-economic development. This was while engaging with the governor on critical issues affecting the state and the nation at large.
This is the second time in 1 week Governor Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State will be visiting the nation's seat of government, this time to solicit federal government support towards effectively catering for the internally displaced persons that have continued to relocate to Gombe from the security challenge neighboring northeastern states, as well as the surrendering terrorists and insurgents.
The Radicalization Center, which is used in rehabilitating and reintegrating those that surrendered from the insurgents, is located in Gombe. And for 6 years now, that facility has not been formally taken over by the federal government. So we lose the numbers of youth corpus that normally provide the human resource that we need in our schools. And as such, we've discussed and we've requested the federal government to take necessary steps, to reimburse Gombe State with amount that is equivalent for us to set up another NYC orientation camp, especially since we've realized that the radicalization center is no longer going to be temporary, and the insurgents are surrendering now in multitudes. So we need to find space for them, and we need to find space equally for our social responsibilities. Governor
Yahaya also made a strong case to the federal government to fulfill its promise of developing the 144,000-hectare gazetted Wawa Zanje Grazing Reserve as part of the National Livestock Transformation Project.
With the recent outburst and the position taken by the governors of the southern part of this country, there is need for us to fast-track the process of building that place so that in the event that our people move in multitudes to come back to resettle, we'll have space for them.
Discussions with the president also centered on the oil and gas deposits discovered in Kolmani area of the Benue Trough, situated in Bauchi and Gombe states.
With the deposit discovered and the interest shown by investors who want to put in money and develop the gas and oil deposit that is available in that place, there is need for us to fast-track the process of the takeoff so that people will benefit from God's endowed resources Nigeria is blessed with. Once oil and gas is discovered up north and there is oil and gas in the south, there will be balance.
The governor formally informed the president the award of contract for the first phase of the 1,000-hectare Gombe Industrial Park, named after him, aimed at enhancing the economic fortune of the state as well as providing job opportunities for the teeming unemployed. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has called on Nigerians to eschew the deliberate heating up of the polity and escalation of sensitive national issues just to achieve meager political mileage. The minister spoke to newsmen in Praia, Cape Verde Island. Anthony Forson reports.
Every war is preceded by this kind of reckless, mindless rhetorics.
The broadcast media space recently has been inundated with what the Information and Culture Minister described as incendiary broadcasts that are capable to throw the country into a war.
And they don't care. They've forgotten that it was only one single radio station in Rwanda and one extremist magazine that set the stage for the genocide that killed over 800,000 people in Rwanda in 1994. Now you can imagine now when there's a cacophony of these rhetorics coming from various radio stations, various online publications, you can imagine kind of panic it can cause, especially in a country like Nigeria.
And most disheartening, the minister pointed out, is that they are done by people who know the truth.
What one expects from leaders at this trying period, when the government is doing its best to fight banditry, to fight Boko Haram, to fight insurrectionists, is to actually help government.
And to airing broadcast stations, the minister was emphatic that no government will fold its arms and watch people who were part of a regulation flaunt it for selfish reasons.
In the first instance, we've urged and we have encouraged the various regulators to ensure that the broadcasting code and all other regulations are not violated.
Lai Mohammed is in Cape Verde to attend the 64th UNWTO Commission for Africa meeting. In Cape Verde, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And back home, leaders of Irigwe land and Fulani community have met with Governor Simon Bako Lalong for the second time within 2 weeks in an effort to find lasting solution to the reoccurring violence in some areas of Basaluko government area of Plateau State. The meeting held at the government house just had the representatives of the two sides under one roof who presented their positions on how best to achieve lasting peace and security in the area. Both sides had earlier met with the governor separately, expressing readiness to forgive one another where they have suffered injustice in the past, as well as reunite and coexist under a peaceful atmosphere and fine-tune issues that are causing the conflict before they come up with a final document. Governor Lalong assured them that he will be glad to witness the signing of the agreement and ensure its implementation. Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, has visited Plateau State to assess the security situation and interact with key holders on how to ensure lasting peace in the state. The CDS said he was in the state as part of the mandate from President Muhammadu Buhari for the armed forces to do everything within their schedule of duty to ensure that perpetrators are fished out and such attacks do not happen again. General Irabo said the meeting will afford him the opportunity to listen to the concerns and suggestions of all participants on the way forward. And we head to Kebbi State. Kebbi State, presently challenged with banditry and other security threats, was recently in the news, this time for a good cause. The state unveiled improvised armored personnel carriers to confront head-on security challenges bedeviling the state and Nigeria at large. This is an initiative of no other person than the State Deputy Governor, Colonel Samaila Iyombe Dabai. The development has no doubt excited the public, notably security analysts, for the simple fact that it demonstrates commitment and innovation to tame the security threats facing the nation the Nigerian way. Usman Abdullahi Shehu tells us the spirit behind the initiative and how far it can go in achieving the desired result.
News that Nigeria is currently confronted by myriad of security challenges, notably insurgency, banditry, and armed robbery, to mention but a few. What is, however, news is the extraordinary effort being put by groups and individuals to at least check the trend or have it reverted for good. The Kebbi State example, where the Deputy Governor Samaila Iyombe Dabai, a retired military officer, spearheaded the complete upgrading of some four-wheel drive Toyota brand vehicles to full-fledged armored personnel carriers, has continued to excite Nigerians, most especially those whose current security challenge has become a thorn in their flesh.
This vehicle body is fabricated with 10.5mm plate of an armored steel as protection against small firearms ammunitions. The radiator and engine are also protected with similar armored steel and has the capacity to carry 10 or more personnel. It has a gun turret at the top to counterattack during operations.
Colonel Iyombe described Kebbi State as pace setter in the creative technology initiative aimed at advancing Nigeria's quest for technical innovation in the fight against banditry and other criminal activities, in view of the critical position of transportation in any security operation.
Because of the shortage of this equipment, and of course my loyalty to this country, and in fact the government of General Muhammadu Buhari, whom I have considered really broke me into the Nigerian army, felt it's a personal challenge. And in addition to the seriousness shown by His Excellency the Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Abuja, who leaves no stone unturned as far as security is concerned.
The initiative has received tremendous applause from some members of the public whose perception on the initiative is not only desirable but necessary.
The fabrication of these vehicles is a welcome development. Why? Because it has now opened way for Nigerian indigenous armored vehicles. We know now we can do it. And these vehicles, if you look at them, you see that they have all the requirements. They are up to standard. And to be honest, any personnel going out on operations with these vehicles will be rest assured that at least his safety is guaranteed.
It's something that we will be proud of, a Nigerian converting Hilux to bulletproof. It's a pride, and it's a proud and a pride to any Nigerian.
The armored vehicle honestly will assist the military in performing their duty.
Apart from the APC fabrication, Colonel Iyombe also fabricated some vehicles into luxurious caravans and authored 2 books aimed at supporting the military and other security personnel in the battlefield. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Sure, an amazing initiative. When a country is faced with a myriad of challenges, openness, frank and genuine efforts are key in addressing hindrances to good governance, security and sustainable development. This was the challenge thrown to participants at the Executive Intelligence Management Course 14 by the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, as part of efforts solution to issues confronting the nation.
Executive Intelligence Management Course 14 by the National Institute for Security Studies is for management staff of various organizations to acquire knowledge for a better society. A lecture on governance, security and sustainable development by Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State focused on the need to tackle poverty and unemployment to enable citizens engage in meaningful ventures.
We, the elites, must know that we cannot just explain away our ineptitude and lack of capacity to govern by inciting or using sentiments of religion, of differences in tribe and the rest, representing our micro constituencies to the detriment of the national interest.
The governor also shares the Bauchi State experience.
I can go to any level to interact and engage with the people. I make myself accessible, and that's why you too, you must make yourself accessible as leaders if you will be able to know and tackle. That will make people have confidence in governance, because you are the manifestation of governance. Without security, all of us politicians are not important.
Questions from participants dwelt on issues surrounding the unity of Nigeria and its development. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The establishment of a naval base in Kano is part of strategies to boost operations of the Nigerian armed forces towards protecting the nation's territorial integrity and keeping it as one entity. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo stated this when he called on Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje in his office. Abdullahi Mustafa reports.
For the past 1 week, Kano has been witnessing massive presence of naval officers. This is the first time many residents are seeing this category of the armed forces personnel, whose primary area of operations is in the coastal states. They are in Kano for the 2021 Chief of Naval Staff Annual Conference to be hosted by the state. This unplanned establishment of an operational base in Kano were issues the Chief of Naval Staff discussed with Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje.
An acting commander has been appointed for the base in the person of Captain Al-Hassan, who has just completed his strategic course at the National Defense College.
We are making the whole Nigerian believe that Kano is peaceful.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who expressed appreciation for making Kano the preferred venue for the Chief of Naval Staff Annual Conference, assured of the state government's support towards actualization of the Kano Naval Base. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has signed the Sokoto State Security Challenges Containment Order No. 3, 2021. The order is part of measures to combat insecurity in the state. The order directs the immediate closure of Isa Murnuna Road, and motorists are now to use the Goronyo Sabon Birni access. The containment order also prohibits the carrying of firewood, transportation of animals in trucks, carrying of 3 or more persons, and sale of second motorcycles in 15 local government areas affected by insecurity. The order also prohibits sale of petrol in jerrycans, and only the designated stations will sell diesel above 5,000 naira, while motorcycles and tricycles will not operate from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the state capital and 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. at the local governments. The order says only the authorized essential workers will be allowed to use motorcycles beyond the banned periods. The presidency says the latest salvo-grown Amnesty International indicates the decision of the international organization to take the sides of terrorists before the liberty of those they injured, displaced and murder. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, described Amnesty International's statement as an outright promotion of those who violently oppose the federal government of Nigeria, parroting the line of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, a proscribed organization, and attempting to legitimize its cause to Western audiences. The statement adds that while Amnesty International's self-proclaimed mandate to impartially transcend borders, it unfortunately plays domestic politics in Nigeria. The presidency called on the organization to do due diligence on the sources on whose reports is bases its claims Nigeria. The statement adds will fight terrorism with all the means at its disposal. Let's take a short break now. When we return, the secret to ensuring food security may just be outside your window. We'll take a peep together after this time out.
The government has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive COVID-19 vaccine. If you received first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July 2021, second dose commences 23rd August and closes 5th September 2021. All vaccines are free and certified safe by WHO and NAFDAC. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screen for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
He's falling sick so frequently, either fever or stomachache. I keep him away from junk food.
She also feeds me apples. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then also wash your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Meaning?
Germs and disease spread through the hand also. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
Looking fresh for your date? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh.
Protected and fresh. Protected and fresh.
Let's take a picture.
Protected and fresh.
Still fresh, still protected.
Feeling cool and protected.
All day confidence to get close.
Oh yeah, take the Close Up shot. Close.
New Close Up Triple Fresh formula.
The Association of National Accountants of Nigeria presents the 26th Annual Conference and Fellowship Awards, themed Strategic Option for Economic Recovery, Role of the Accountant. Date 6th to 9th September 2021. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Special guest of honor, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Host, Reverend Canon Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisioma, FCNA, President and Chairman of Council, You are invited to listen to an array of professionals and industry experts as they deliberate on pertinent matters and strategies geared towards repositioning Nigeria's economy. Registration begins on Monday, 6th September 2021 at M&M Event Center, Abuja. Fellowship Awards holds on the 9th of September 2021 at NAF Conference Center, Abuja by 2:30 p.m. Signed, Dr. Nuruddin Abba Abdullahi, MNI, FCNA, Chief Executive Officer, Announcer.
The Northeast Development Commission wishes to announce the formal handing over of 1,000 Gom Mass Housing Unit, flag up of the distribution of food and non-food items, commissioning of Bond Center at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of 300-seater auditorium at the Center for the Study of Violent Extremism at the University of Maiduguri, and graduation ceremony of the Batch B graduates of the NEDC ICT training program. Special guest of honor, Hajia Sadia Umar Farooq, Honorable Minister, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Chief Host, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Abdul, MNI FNSC, Executive Governor of Borno State. Guest of honor, Pauline Talin, Honorable Minister for Women Affairs, His Excellency Mr. Edwin Kalon, Resident Coordinator, United Nations Office, Nigeria. Chairman of the occasion, Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, Chairman, Senate Committee on Special Duties. Host, Major General Paul Chabri Talpa, retired MNI, Chairman, NEDC Governing Board. Father of the day, His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Abubakar Ibn Garba Alamin El Kanemi, CFR Shehu Borno, dead Thursday, 2nd September 2021. Venue, Multipurpose Hall, Government House, Maiduguri, Borno State, time 10 a.m. prompt. Attendance is strictly by invitation in compliance with COVID-19 protocol. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
No leakage. Yes, moped. No leakage. No leakage. No leakage. We need a big change in our lives. Moped Ultra Soft is super absorbent and offers up to 100% leak protection. Your skin will love it.
Big news from Moped. Get new Moped Super Value Pack and save up to 25%.
Oh my God, which medication are you giving this baby?
Medication? I have given him all sorts.
Have you given him Bonababe?
Bonababe?
Yes, Bonababe.
Naturally, babies cannot speak. All they do is cry whenever they're sick. And you know, a happy baby makes a happy mother. When your baby is going through aches, fever or pains, allergic cough, including discomfort associated with teething pains, treat your baby with Bonababe syrup. Bonababe is manufactured by Bond Chemical Industries Limited, makers of Bond Paracetamol. Bonababe syrup contains paracetamol and chlorpheniramine, available in pharmacies near you. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult your doctor.
I use it for you when you are a baby.
Thank you, Grandma.
Welcome back. For ease of operations, the Nigeria Customs Service entered into agreement with commercial banks for the collection of custom duties. The House of Representatives Committee on Customs is investigating why some of these banks deliberately denied federal government access to such needed revenue by engaging in late or under-remittance of collections, which is billions of naira. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the investigative hearing.
The committee is investigating 18 commercial banks on allegations of under-remittance and late remittance of duties collected on behalf of the Nigeria Customs Service from 2009 to 2019. Under the agreements, all custom duty collections are to be deposited into an account with the Central Bank of Nigeria and amounts reconciled with the various commands of the service. Some banks are, however, not keeping to these agreements.
5 out of 18 were able to get 10.6 billion that they are owing government. And they are trying to prove that reconciliation has not been done well. Well, we are giving them 2 weeks to go and come back. After these 2 weeks, we will not have any other option than to write to CBN to deduct the money from source.
Representatives of some banks at the hearing put up some defense.
It is a public knowledge that we've had a very huge, fire incidents as at that year. But I think with the discussion today, We've gotten the clarification that it is not the physical document that we are looking for. We'll go back to our system and bring the electronic information, you understand, on the remittances covered by a short period.
There's a statement that we provided for all those 3 years, stating, and we even had to highlight the particular place or places where those figures are on the statement. The account number, the check number on it to CBN.
We have traced about 60% of what the consultants said they could not find. And the reason why is what I was saying before. A customer can pay $1 billion, and the billion is for 10 different transactions. It goes into central bank customs account individually.
The committee requested for documentary proof with a warning that any bank found wanting will be appropriately sanctioned. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Petroleum Industry Act is seen as a major tool for the stabilization and development of the Niger Delta region through a critical approach towards ending ecological and social challenges. This is the summary of stakeholders' view on NTA Tuesday Live as attention turns to host communities. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Various programs designed to improve the economic well-being and promote development in the oil-rich region of Niger Delta failed despite huge finances in the past. For the host communities, the expectations from the Act will be guaranteed and express confidence that the paradigm shift will entrench a new dawn of transformation.
This is what we expected for the past 13 years, and it eluded us. And for the past 50 years of oil exploitation and exploration in Nigeria, there was no law that favors the host community. But this is a law that has just come direct to favor the host community.
There is also need in the implementation to have a mechanism by which capital development projects in host communities will be harmonized from those accruing from the Development Trust Fund, those that otherwise will fall under the purview of the NDDC, and those that the Niger Delta Ministry would otherwise make part of its development projects in the Niger Delta.
Stakeholders act on evaluation, monitoring, and supervision of resources in order to meet the yearning and aspiration of the people through cooperation with agencies for maximum benefits.
It is hoped that the implementation of the processes of oil and gas in Nigeria will follow international standards, especially the unbundling of the NNPC and so on.
It is a good way, and we are going to support the process of implementation, and we also want it to be transparent.
As the PIA is set to begin to answer questions from the region, experts say more should be done to revolutionize infrastructure and add value to the lives of the host communities. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Let's talk business. World oil demand growth expectations remain at 6 million barrels a day for 2021, says OPEC Secretary General, as investors lose 18.4 billion naira to maintain negative market sentiment in the capital market. Details with Musa Abubakar on Business News.
Thank you, Fatima. OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo says the OPEC Secretariat Global Economic Growth Focus for 2021 has been revised up slightly to stand at 5.6%, while growth in 2022 has also been revised up and is now expected at 4.2%. He stated this at the 20th OPEC and non-OPEC ministerial video conference meeting.
While growth in 2022 has also been revised up and is now expected at 4.2%. For the United States, the economic growth forecast for 2021 is around 6.1% and 4.1% for 2022. For the Eurozone, Your Highness, the 2021 forecast stands around 4.7% and 3.8% for 2022. China, which experienced a severe outbreak of the Delta variant in the third quarter and has introduced strict lockdown measures, is forecast to see growth around 8.5% in 2021 and 6% in 2022. World oil demand growth expectations remain at 6 million barrels a day for 2021 and 3.3 million barrels a day for 2022. Total world oil demand is projected to exceed the 100 million barrels a day threshold in the second quarter of next year and reach 99, almost 100 million barrels on average for the whole of 2022.
Now to stocks. Equities market closed Wednesday trading in red. The all-share index declined 0.09% to close 39,184.18 basis point, and market capitalization at 20.4 trillion naira. 169.3 million shares, value at 1.4 billion naira, exchange hands in 3,449 deals. Transcorp, Zenith Bank, and Honey Flour are the most traded stocks. Well, that's business news. It's back to you, Fatima.
Thank you so much, Musa. Backyard or urban farming. Do you remember those years of its existence? Is it still a common practice around your homes or neighborhood? Well, Godwin Inalego went round the Makurdi metropolis and its suburbs to find out if this practice has over the years gone into extinction, not minding its importance towards enhancing food security.
Makurdi, the Benue State capital, located in the north-central region of Nigeria, is a fast-growing town in the country. The fertile arable land, which is suitable for the production of almost all food crops, provides the opportunity for its residents, especially those in the civil service and other white-collar jobs, to engage in agriculture during their spare time. It is in furtherance to this that the governor of the state, Samuel Otun, declared Thursdays and Fridays in the months of July and August as work-free days to enable workers to go to the farm and support their families. Most of these farmers who could not go to their farms for sundry reasons make use of the open and undeveloped plots of land within their places of residence to engage in backyard farming to provide some of the immediate basic food needs of the family. Matthias Mary Aga, a civil servant, is among many others who have been in the practice for over a decade.
If you continue buying day by day, it will not help me. So for the children, for any time they feel hungry, they just got it from the farm and eat. Sometimes it will be raining. You cannot go far, but you still need to eat. So you can go to the backyard quickly to get something for your people.
The vegetable you plant within the backyard, it gives you money. Quickly sell to others and get some money out of it.
However, this system of farming, which used to be common in the past, seems to be giving way as open spaces within the residential properties are being developed. Also, children who used to take pleasure in engaging in backyard farming seem to have found more interesting pastimes.
Because we don't have a backyard farm, so we don't have to assistant to do all those backyard farm. I know about backyard farming. I farm pepper, okra, sugarcane, and other little things.
From the responses of our respondents, it is now important to engage in one agriculture or another around our surroundings to support our family income. From Makurdi, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
Backyard farming all the way for me. Sorry. This is a compassionate expression often used to show empathy at times of losses or when disaster or calamity comes calling. As powerful as these words are, they are more appreciated when accompanied with compensation or relief materials to cushion the effect of the losses. And this is the wisdom behind the introduction of insurance covered by the federal government for farmers. As good as the initiative is, farmers are yet to understand and key into it. Musa Baba Aliu in this report looks at the implementation of this insurance scheme initiative.
Flood destroyed this massive rice plantation in Kebbi State last year.
The plantation, though, belongs to different farmers in different sizes. It is estimated that more than 10,000 bags are produced from the area annually. 63 years Muhammad Tijani is one of the farmers whose farms were destroyed by the flood.
All the thing, we have lost it. We have nothing now. Only water you can see here. Only water remain. We have nothing.
Investigations carried out by NTA shows that 80% of farms destroyed by flood across the country last year were not insured. Most farmers with insurance cover are those under the Anchor Borrowers Program and few others in poultry, fishery and livestock farming. I don't know anything about agri insurance and I have never heard about it. In 1987, the federal government established Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation with a view to providing risk cover to farmers.
Normally there is a subsidy. Any premium that they are supposed to pay, they pay only 50%. Federal government and state government subsidize for the 50% in the ratio of 37.5% for the federal government and 12.5% for the state government where the farm is located.
Documents obtained by NTA from the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation shows that between 2015 and 2020, 1,276,917 farmers are captured under the insurance cover and more than 2 billion naira claims were settled.
The farmer cannot know what will be given to him until he reports, until an inspection is being carried out, until investigation is done on the farm to establish one, that there is a loss, the extent of the damage.
With the way the 2020 flood destroyed crop production, the presidency under the Food Security Council is providing a special cover for farmers this year. This is coupled with the special package that will be provided for farmers in case of losses associated with livestock encroachment. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Let's now talk about another kind of insurance. Do you have a vehicle? If yes, what kind of insurance cover do you have for it? Comprehensive or third party? That is the cheap one, popularly called Let My People Go. How much do you know about that third party insurance? How effective is it? And who are those liable for it? Well, these are some curious questions motorists have been asking in order to know the essence of the policy attached to vehicle particulars. Let's hear more from Oyemi Ajayi.
My Car, sung by Tony Tetwila, far back as 2001, relays the everyday frustration motorists involved in accidents go through before their vehicles are repaired. Road accidents are daily occurrences which keep those involved stranded, leaving to solve the puzzle of why the accident occurred, who is at fault, or who repairs the accidented vehicles. When accidents occur, the perceived party guilty bears the cost of repairs. But should motorists be the ones to incur the cost of repair in accidents after investing a mandatory vehicle insurance fee before being allowed to ply the roads?
If you have an accident with any other person who is the third party, then what it means there is the cost of repairs for that third party should be taken over by your third party insurance. Ignorance or people doesn't want to even follow their rights.
Because the third party means I am responsible for what has happened to you, and my insurance will take care of you.
As I probe further to understand the reason for the insurance documents attached to vehicle particulars, many have argued that the insurance document is just an exploitation of the people.
There's no year that I will go and do vehicle paper without vehicle insurance. And even the motor get accident, if you go to their office, they'll be looking at you as...
When your vehicle have accident or whatever, they will not pay you for anything.
One of our vehicles that got accident, I think last 2 months. So went to the insurance, they say the insurance, they are giving us. So we are the one we are the one, the union now take the responsibility to repair those people's cars.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics and the Federal Road Safety Corps, about 20,000 vehicles in the country are involved in road traffic accidents every year. And if this statistics is anything to go by, many vehicle insurance are left unclaimed as motorists involved in accidents are made to face the struggle of repairing their vehicles.
Most of the insurance certificates we're having are fake. That most of them are not genuine ones. It's a matter of just having somebody, a tout, to give you insurance certificate that is not registered, that is not paid for, that is not auto-generated, that is not authentic. That is just to have it as part of the document.
This reinforces the need for proper awareness on what drivers should do after an accident occurs and makes it pertinent to know who should repair an insured accidented vehicle. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The level of impunity exhibited by road users has led to the arrest of 25 offenders in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports that the arrest forms part of the mop-up exercise by the Federal Road Safety Corps as the Ember Month set in.
It's that time of the year, known as the Ember Months, that there is an increase in the activities of road users. Reckless driving, usage of unauthorized number plates, driving against the traffic and other road traffic offenses have been identified as the reasons for increase in road crashes. This informed the commencement of Operation Mop-Up exercise by the Federal Road Safety Corps ahead of preparation for the Ember Months to ensure safety of lives and property. During the operation, over 20 drivers were arrested for various offenses.
Some cars, when they arrest them, you see that they don't no tires. Even though some they have tires, no jack, no spare tire.
All the drivers have been tutored and been given some symposium or seminars about to caution to check their vehicles.
We have those that have gone to the extent of using their traditional title in place of their number plate. I know what this portends for security and safety on our roads. When you look at it from two dimensions, when a vehicle gets involved in a crash, maybe hit and run, the only easiest way to get across to that vehicle is through proper registration. It's all what we want to keep is the law, the health of the vehicle, the status of the road, and the health of the passengers.
Since the commencement of the Operation Mop-Up exercise 8 months ago, over 1,700 vehicles have been impounded. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Thank you, Diana. Let's take a breather. In the next segment of the news, go and see no more. Some inmates regain freedom in Kano. There is a closer look at the habit of smoking among young people. We'll be right back.
I need help, so please go to the market. And get me everything I need to cook this food. Get my pepper and get my onions. I'm waiting. Do you know how to buy pepper? Do you know how to buy dashi? You won't even let my mother come and stay. I need help. You don't know how stressful it is if you're this 3 kids. Are you still there? If you're not getting me fresh meat, do you understand?
Okay, I'm at the meat.
Can you switch to video call, please? Okay, give me that one. The one by your side.
Okay, please.
Where do I buy all these things now? Hey, go get Glow Berekete and call madam.
Berekete. The heavyweight voice and data plan. Get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans.
This is to inform the public that the administration of the second dose of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has commenced in all states. If you received your first dose of the vaccine before 8th July 2021, visit your vaccination site immediately to receive your second dose for full protection against COVID-19. Administration of second dose of AstraZeneca vaccine closes on 5th September 2021. Hurry now, as there is no guarantee that the second dose will be available after 5th September 2021. All COVID-19 COVID-19 vaccines are free and certified safe by WHO and NAFDAC. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
I have got my car for full body work.
Madam, look, we will shine this car.
Wait. This cough doesn't sound good at all. What are you doing about it?
Oga doesn't want to go to the hospital so that they won't say he has COVID-19.
No, now. Cough is a sign of different infections, including tuberculosis. You would only know which cough it is if you go for testing.
Kai, I've been coughing for more than 2 weeks now.
There's no need to fear. I have done this test myself. To know the right treatment for the particular cough you have, you must first get tested.
Oga Chekamo, make you dey sure because
who no go? No go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
Chekamo, make you dey sure.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB tests and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get the test. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jig. Jig's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jig it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. No cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Available in a big 100-gram tube and a small 25-gram tube.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1 sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness. Introducing Sunlight with luxurious oud fragrance.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jig. Jig's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jig it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
Thanks for staying. The All Progressives Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee has ratified and adopted the results of the party's nationwide ward congresses held on Saturday, July 31st, 2021. Salih Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
In a statement, John James Akpao-Adehe, National Secretary, Caretaker Committee, the party also approved the immediate inauguration of ward executive by state caretaker committees. The statement directed that the conduct of nationwide local government congresses should proceed accordingly on Saturday, September 4th, 2021, as contained in the official timetable and schedule of activities released by the party. Meanwhile, the Zenith Labour Party has formally presented Obiora Okonkwo as its consensus governorship candidate ahead of the November 6 polls in Anambra State. National chairman of the party, Dan Nwanyang, says Zenith Labour Party's choice for Obiora Okonkwo as the party's flag bearer is to entrench a people-oriented political culture as an avenue to impact lives using individuals with vast leadership skills.
There must be debates. You must come and tell Anambra people what you have done for yourself, what you have done for the people of Anambra State and your constituency, what you do about unemployment, what you do about the economy of the state.
We have hidden treasures in Anambra State that we will unlock, we will untap to triple our budget in the first 1 year.
The candidate Obiora Okonkwo says revamping the economy through technical education and youth engagement, as well as improving security, will be top on his agenda. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Somebody was wondering the other day whether, in view of the insecurity on the outside, it could be better to be in a custodial institution in Nigeria. Your answer is as good as mine. Many know that the experience leaves more than physical scars. The fact is that freedom is priceless. Aware of this invaluable status, the Presidential Committee on Decongestion and Reform of Correctional Centers has released 31 inmates of the Kano Medium Security Correctional Center. One of the released inmates is a teenage girl who was forced into marriage as a child and days later alleged to be the cause of her husband's death. Femi Okewu has the story.
Rahama Hussaini was a JS1 student in 2014 when she was forcibly married off by her father. 3 days after the marriage, while her husband was attempting to consummate the marriage, a struggle ensued, which was said to have resulted in his death. Rahama has remained in custody since then. While going through the exercise of releasing qualified inmates, the representative of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, brought to the attention of the Presidential Committee Rahama's case. During his courtesy visit, Justice Ishaq Bello raised the issue with the Kano State Governor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who immediately activated the prerogative of mercy constitutional process to secure a pardon for Rahama. The Kano State Governor also promised to pay more attention to the juvenile justice system in the state.
We give employment to some of them, and also we have reformatory section. Those who are on drug, of course, they are not even prisoners, but we take them there for rehabilitation.
19 inmates were released during the exercise through the payment of fines by the Federal Ministry of Justice and various NGOs. 7 others, too, regained their freedom as a result of old age.
For anybody to think that order for compensation will mean remanding that convict ad infinitum is wrong.
So far, over 10,000 inmates in correctional centers across the country have been beneficiaries of the intervention of the Presidential Committee. Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Nigerians have unique ties to their cultures and religions. As such, religious leaders command huge respect and followership. It is on this premise that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency seeks the collaboration of religious leaders in Kano towards utilizing their platforms to dissuade their followers from drug abuse and trafficking. Elizabeth Yilalamido reports that the chairman of the agency, Mohammed Buba Mara, also addressed transport unions in the state as part of his 3-day advocacy visit.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Kano Command, ascertained the prevalence rate of drug abuse in Kano State at 16%, which is an estimated 2 million drug users. To mitigate this, The Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Mohammed Buba Marwa, embarked on a massive sensitization and advocacy, addressing communities and empowering rehabilitated drug users to be self-reliant.
This will change my life in different ways.
May God help him to get more people like me to stop taking drugs.
In his interaction with elder statesmen and religious leaders, the chairman seek for the inclusion of drug tests in routine premarital health status check, and in turn, the leaders expressed concerns and gave advice on ways of fighting the scourge.
Cannabis destroy is one of the things that are easily sold everywhere. So let NDLEA, through your good officer, help us to fight it and stop it.
We have expressed concerns regarding the laws, that need to be revisited because of the over-concentration on users, end users.
We gave advice, a lot of advice about the corruption, within the system and the lack of arrest and clear, open punishment of kingpins.
Buba Marwa also cautioned the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, and the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW.
The main point we are making is to warn the vehicle owners to be careful when loading, because the NDLEA is there. We're going to check, and if we find drugs in these buses and vehicles, apart from punishing the perpetrators and the traffickers, we will also seek for forfeiture.
The chairman, CEO, continued his advocacy campaign with heads of tertiary institutions, decorating them with the War Against Drug Abuse emblem, as well as meeting of all stakeholders in the state.
This is the guard of honor taking place at the NDLEA Kano State Command. From assumption of duty in January, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer NDLEA has arrested more than 8,000 drug traffickers and drug barons, and about 1,600 of them have been convicted.
In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
Many thanks, Elizabeth. In the next part of the news, a very important bridge linking Oyo and Osun states and the wear and tear affecting it. Yours faithfully or yours sincerely, when last did you write a letter? We have a special on the World Letter Writing Day. Please stay.
This na the story of Pekin, we rise to the marks. Rain or shine, it not settle for less. Na the story of small boy we get big talent. Home and away. Wait do, it be like say na the story of one man we fall, but we bounce back in style.
Osime, wetin dey motivate you? I want day big, special and great.
Watching us live from Big Brother House Studio.
Joy for Osime and his teammates, a chuff for him as well.
Make we enjoy Max Entertainment together.
Sports or movies, telenovela or cartoon, music or reality TV. With just 6,900 naira, you fit get your GoTV decoder plus 1 month Max subscription. Make you enjoy over 75 channels with for GoTV Max. Make you and your special ones enjoy better things on Max levels. GoTV, love it.
He's falling sick so frequently, either fever or stomachache. I keep him away from junk food.
He also feeds me apples. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you want to keep germs away, then also wash your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Meaning?
Germs and disease spread through the hand also. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
I'll spread my wings and fly so
year it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
Great to know you're still here. Ibadan-Ife-Ilesha Expressway is one of the major highways along the southwest corridor and contributes significantly to the socio-economic activities in the zone. The deplorable condition of some parts of the highway, particularly the Archangel Bridge, which borders Oyo and Osun State, is now giving the motoring public along the route a cause for concern. Femi Afariogun, who visited the area, reports that motorists are seeking government's intervention against possible collapse of the bridge.
112-kilometer Ibadan-Ife-Ilesha Expressway was constructed in the early 90s. A major bridge along this highway close to the dam is the Archangel Bridge. Archangel Bridge is the boundary between Osun and Oyo states. For motorists coming in from Oyo State into Osun State, they are complaining of the situation of the bridge here. The expansion joints of the bridge are widening and some side railings gone, with part of the embankment opening up.
Government to help us on this bridge because as they normally happen. Government should please help the masses do it.
They should not repair only this bridge, but the entire road.
The Federal Controller of Works in Osun State, Olubenga Orishaleye, who led a team of engineers to Archangel, says there is no cause for alarm.
By the time vehicle tire move on it, it's peel off, and that is what causes the expansion joints to be exposed. Just a minor repair that is needed. So by the time contractor that we want to employ now comes to site, they will repair the whole thing together very, very soon.
Apart from the Archangel Bridge, a number of failed sections on the highway, especially around Ikoyi, also need rehabilitation. For 3 days, this truck has been stuck here due to bad road, forcing other motorists to a single-lane traffic.
No, I don't pass inside, you don't break down, you don't spot. So tell government to try to help us to repair the place.
The total length of the road has been awarded, right away from under the bridge in the Iwo Road, Ibadan, down to Iwaraja Junction. That is at Ilesha. It will be done in the same way that the one from Lagos to Ibadan.
The prayers of motorists is for work to commence soon to save them from the hiccups encountered on the highway.
Femi Afariogun, NTA.
The Nigerian Television Authority's commitment towards promoting peaceful and harmonious coexistence continues to attract more partnership from like-minded organizations as people of Southern Kaduna get assurance of access for their voices to be heard on the services of newly renovated NTA Kafanchan Community Station. The Director General, Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, in a message to the occasion of handing over equipment to the station by Nigerian Early Recovery Initiative, says staff must be proactive in meeting expectations. Kim Watts reports.
Kafanchan is back and stronger. Come with me.
A modest celebration for what stakeholders take turns to describe as outstanding achievement to the NTA and Southern Kaduna community. Recall a fire incident some 9 years ago gutted studio and vital equipments which affected operations. The narrative has changed now as Nigeria Early Recovery Initiative, NERI, renovated the station structures, including office complex, burned down studio, and installed digital equipment across all the areas of value chain. NERI is involved in peace-building mechanisms and expects broadcast of peace messages, including Zaman Lafiya Tare and living peacefully together, among other engagements to engender harmonious coexistence and development. Immediate past chairman of Jama'ah Local Government Council, Peter Danjuma Averik, who facilitated the project, appreciates NERI for living up to expectations.
So that people will understand the policies and programs of government.
And continually air the Zaman Lafiya program, which the NERI USAID OTI has brought down to Southern Kaduna.
We should be able to have regular programs that women will feature.
I urge the manager and the staff, they should take care of this place.
In a message, NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented by Zonal Director Kaduna Network Center Hamza Musa Makarfi, says the organization is committed to unity and peaceful coexistence of the country.
Appreciate Mary for this wonderful partnership and promise the Southern Kaduna community that this station is theirs. It's theirs for the promotion of peace, for the promotion of development.
NTA Kafanchang was inaugurated in 2003 to facilitate community development of Southern Kaduna. From Kafanchang, Kim Gotts, NTA News.
Technology is proving to be the new frontier for unlimited economic possibilities tech giants, as tech giants are springing up every day in many developed countries. Nigeria is not too far behind these days, with young minds giving full expression to their creativity. Anas Yazid, a Kano-based tech entrepreneur, has joined this growing sector, having developed a self-paced home learning application. Abdullahi Mustafa, who joined family and friends celebrating the feat, sent in this report.
Many see agriculture as the only alternative means of transforming Nigeria's economy. Indispensable it is indeed. But digital innovation, the federal government believes, has a lot to offer.
It is a happy moment for family and friends of Anas Balaraba Yazid, a Kano-based ICT expert and entrepreneur. They are not celebrating his birthday or any other social event, but for his breakthrough in the world of digital innovation. Anas has designed an educational application that makes learning at home comfortable and easy.
We really believe that, we complement everybody. We're not trying to replace lesson teachers. We're not trying to replace schools. But we think this is a good complement of whatever parents are using at home.
That is really innovative, and it shows that in this technological advancement that we are seeing in Nigeria, especially that the government is trying to reach out to diversify its other sectors. So this is a welcome development.
The app gives school children access to more than 600 explainer videos on science, social studies, phonics, and composition.
Teachers would benefit from it because teaching will become easier for them. The kids will learn at home from their comfort zone. It helps my kids to learn at their own pace, and they never miss any opportunity to learn.
It is a development that parents are enthused about, as it gives offline access, thereby preventing children from harmful internet resources.
So by the time you have a restriction, the child can be able to view this without necessarily going online searching for topics, which in the process of searching, they will see other things that are not child-friendly.
Immediately after the demonstration of the working of the self-paced home learning app, little Mariam Saad, in company of her mother, gave it a trial. Anas Yazid's innovation is seen by many as a justification of the digital economy transformation being pursued by the government. Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Thank you, Abdullahi. 1st of September every year is celebrated as World Letter Writing Day. It is a day you are encouraged to pick up a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write a letter to someone. How important is this age-long art of communication in the digital world of handset, text, and emails? Do people still compose letters, and how can this practice be sustained among the younger generation? Find out from Charles Alpha.
Letter writing, a medium of communication, is as old as man, whether formal or informal. It was the only known means of sending and receiving vital information aside oral messaging.
In those days, when we were in school, you can recall that it is a thing of pride at the assembly or when they come to look for you and they call you out that you have a letter.
Beautiful handwriting back in the days was regarded one of the ways to show off one's penmanship skills.
I got to the point where I was regularly invited for handwriting competitions those days. And it was, between schools and so on and so forth.
In those days, when you write letter to your parents, it also serves as an avenue for them to assess you.
I think that the use of computers have actually reduced the priority given to handwriting in the past.
There's a cry by concerned actors to sustain this art of communication among school children to prevent the practice from extinction.
In most of our formations, schools are encouraged to write letters, be posts, to assess it, give marks as a form of a competition, and awards or gifts are given at the end of the day.
I think we should continue to have handwriting as a curriculum in schools.
As Nigerians join the world to mark World Letter Writing Day on 1st of September, people are encouraged to take a break from the social media, think of a forgotten friend, relative, or loved ones that live miles away and write them a letter. Charles, Alpha, NTA News.
I remember those days when I loved writing letters. It's a beautiful feel, I must say. I think we should encourage that. Meanwhile, though, they did not ensure relief has come their way. I'm talking about women and the vulnerable in Mangu Plateau State, who received with gratitude cash to alleviate their sufferings. This came under the Social Investment Program of the federal government. Caleb Goshen was there when it all happened. Okay, I've been told that that report is, well, not really. Let's take sports now. Let's join correspondent Kena Ima Abudiki on Sports Update.
We begin with the ongoing Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games, where Team Nigeria lost a game 0-2 to Australia on Wednesday, but gained a bronze medal to the bargain in the para-table tennis men's team event Class 3. This brings their total games haul to 7 medals, including 3 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronze. On Thursday, Eukeria Iyazi will join 15 other athletes to battle for the 3 available medals in the women's shot put F57 event. Meanwhile, the Association of Nigerian Women in Sports, NAWIS, celebrates the victorious para-powerlifters for their performance at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games. Recall that Oluwafemi Ayo Folashade won gold medal after lifting 152 kg, while Bose Omotayo's opening lift of 133 kg in the minus 79 kg class was good enough for gold medal. Lovelyn Obiji also took silver medal with a lift of 147 kg in the plus 86 kg class. In a release on Wednesday, NAWIS President Professor Florence Adeyanju also extolled the efforts of Blessing Obododudu and Ese Brume, both of whom won medals for Nigeria at the main Olympics. The para-powerlifters are expected back in the country on Thursday. In volleyball, Nigeria's Young Eagles recorded their first win at the ongoing FIVB Under-19 Boys World Championship in Iran on Wednesday, beating Cuba 3-2, 25-10, 25-20, 22-25, 20-25, and 15-13 points in a highly tensed match. The African champions will face Thailand on
And President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the family of former Minister of Trade and Investment Aisha Abubakar over the death of her son Aliyu Abubakar Mukhtar. The president, who sent a delegation to the residence of the former minister led by Malam Garba Shehu, described the death of the deceased as a great loss. He prayed that Allah grant the family fortitude to bear the loss. The 20-year-old lost his life Tuesday in Abuja in a car accident. And the remains of Mr. Sunday Ibrahim Saintong, former Zonal Director, NTA Network Center Port Harcourt, were laid to rest in his hometown, Kurme Musa in Kachil Local Government Area, Kaduna State last weekend. In attendance at the burial ceremony were family members, friends, as well as former colleagues of the deceased in NTA.
Relations, colleagues and friends were in sorrowful mood as they bid farewell to late Mr. Sunday Ibrahim Swantong with songs of praises.
Early in the morning to late at night, my only plea is you.
Delivering the sermon at the funeral, Reverend Sholi Yusuf of Ekwa Unity Church, Jos, reading from 2 Timothy chapter 2 in his message titled, "Tough Times Never Last," admonished Christians to be strong in faith as Jesus Christ paid the supreme price by his death on the cross.
The grace of God is that strength. The grace of God is that appearance of support, encouragement, resources that God makes available to you and me, not because we deserve it, but because Jesus paid the price.
Wife of the deceased, Lillian Sunday Swanton, and family members eulogized the rare qualities of her late husband, worthy of emulation.
He's a patient man. He's so caring. He's so humble. He's so loving.
He was a man of peace. He was a man that loved unity. He was an honest man.
He has been there for us as a family members. He has been there as a pillar. We really lost or missed an icon in the family.
Born on the 20th of August 1956 in Kurmin Musa, late Mr. Sunday Swanton joined NTA in 1981. Having served in different stations across the nation, Mr. Swanton rose to the rank of zonal director before his retirement from the broadcasting industry.
He's ever serious, very committed. Sunday Swanton would not tell you what is wrong. He will always give you direction.
The remains of late Mr. Sunday Brian Swanton was laid to rest for the final interment at his family compound in Kurmin Musa. From Kafanchan, Kim Gods, NTA News.
With that, we conclude News Extra for tonight. But before we go, here's a reminder. Remember to always be a star connected with the NTA and start against rape and rapists. I am Fatima Umarububa. Do have a lovely night rest.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
When we talk about an individual's state of health, we're not just looking at the physical. We're also looking at the psychological, the mental, the spiritual, and more importantly, the reproductive health. In Africa, where we have found ourselves, the state of reproductive health of individuals have been known to make or break homes. It has had a lot of debilitating effect amongst our family members. And in Nigeria in particular, where we are, we have individuals who are doing so much, contributing their own quota to ensure that the reproductive health of Nigerians remain in tip-top shape. Today, I have found myself in the home of one of such distinguished individuals as I welcome you to another beautiful time on Executive Discuss, coming to you on the network service of the NTA. My name is Ololade Adeniji Adele. My guest on the program today is somebody who has recorded several firsts. He was the one who recorded the very first official test tube baby. He also recorded the very first official set of test tube twins, set of test tube triplets, and does the name Baby Hannatu mean anything to you? Does it ring a bell at all? Okay, either it does or not. Why don't you come with me as we get to meet my guest on the show today, and you will have so much fun with my discussions. Come along with me.
Hello,
sir. How are you?
Welcome. I'm good.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Welcome to my home.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, for the purpose of our viewers, I'm sure that a lot of people just hear the name Dr. Wada, they hear NISA Premier. They really don't know who Dr. Wada is, aside the gynecologist. So for the purpose of such viewers, can you take us through your early years? Where you were born, schools you attended, your journey through life, and up to today
Where
that
we
we
are.
see Dr. Wada?
Thank you very much. It's a great opportunity to be able to talk to you. I was born in Kogi State, present Kogi State, when it was Kwara. My parents are late now, Alhaji Halil Wada Ejiga, and my mother, Rakia Wada Salihu. I think that the grace of the Lord will bless their souls. I wouldn't be here if not for them. And I remember them, I still love them as dearly as ever. I was a tiny little boy, grew up in Kogi, attended the Roman Catholic primary school in Dekina.
Okay.
And oh, what a time it was then. And then I passed the school leaving certificate and then went on to a place called St. Charles College. The primary school was in Roman Catholic Mission School, RCM we used to call it. Then the secondary school, St. Charles, this is another Catholic mission. So why this is important to mention is because so early in life I was mixed, a Muslim, very, very interested in knowing the Quran and memorizing and learning about God that way, attending Catholic schools, both primary and secondary, and my God, it's only these days that I understand how much it has enriched me. So this is important that we had that solid kind of balanced background. So, and then after 3 years in St. Charles, which was a new school in Angpa, still in Kwara State of that time. I was moved to government secondary school, the Kina. And the reason for the movement was because my enlightened brother, Captain Wada, felt, hey, look, this guy looks like a local champion in St. Charles College. Let them move him to where the real guys are.
Let's test him.
Test him. Is it that good? Well, history has it on my side, I think.
That you were that good.
I think I proved him wrong, because he thought once you move here and you have all that competition, but it was a good move. It was a wonderful thing. He's a great man. So I then finished from government secondary school, the Kina, of course. Thank God, with good grades, and I was admitted to School of Basic Studies at Abuja, Zaria. The only thing to say about School of Basic Studies to me was a reawakening. Okay. Wow, what a huge city! What compared to the villages
from where you were,
and what a mix of people, not just Kwara people, but north, south, east, and west. Huge mix, and so it was exciting, and I was again lucky after the school, SBS, as we call it, Basico. We got admitted again to the medical school in Zaria, and that's where the tough times started. Learning about human beings, trying to pass. Your time was no more your time, assignments and all that. So we were able to weather that storm. I became a doctor in 1980, which is I was young then, because by 1980 I was very early 20s. Okay. And I chose to become a gynecologist in that path of medical school. Why? You must ask me.
Yes.
One of our village mothers, when you're in the village, it's not just your mother that's your mother. You eat here, you play here and all that. One of the women that looked after us died while I was in medical school in childbirth. So I was challenged to say to myself, you know what? If I can become a gynecologist, my job will be how to save the lives of women, because this woman was dear to us. I mean, people share, but she shared more. Wow. May her soul rest in peace, as I've always remembered her. So it was clear to me that if doctors could help save women's lives, Dr. Wada was going to be one of them. So that put my career in gynecology not in doubt. If I could, I would, kind of thing. So, and then in trying to train to be that gynecologist, okay, it's a given. If you treat women well, on time, you could save their lives. That's a given, more or less. Yes. But there was a group of women that needed more than just
Yes, we will come to those group of women that needed more than just. But before you move away from medicine to other things, yes, at that point in time, you decided you want to specialize in gynecology.
Correct.
But why medicine in the very first instance?
Right. I think my childhood had hallmarks of someone who's going to be a doctor. I was nicknamed doctor already in primary school by my colleagues.
Why?
And I think the main reason for them was when an exam or a test, it wasn't an exam then, when a test came, who's that guy far away, right on top?
Okay.
So to them, there was no choice of career, but that guy had to become a doctor. And that's for them. What about for me? For whatever reason, I remember vividly that every time I read a story to do with medicine in any newspaper in my primary school, I'm not talking of secondary school, I would cut it and put it in my little room. So,
why?
Only because I liked reading anything to do with health. So there are two sides to the story. One, what's internal to me and my behavior when it came to health issues, and then my classmates and schoolmates who will nickname me doctor just because they thought, what else would this man be if not a doctor? Exactly. So I think that's a good angle, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so having studied medicine now, you specialized in gynecology, but now fertility treatment.
Okay. I was in Jos, at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, and my teacher, Dr. Eldred Wright, also of blessed memory, may his soul rest in peace, took me under his wings, and we were all working together. And later joined us Professor Otubu, who is a very renowned gynecologist. Those were the two people that trained me in Jos. And they were interested in women who couldn't have babies. And we knew that there was more in the outer world that was on offer. Test tube babies had come in Cambridge and Manchester, and I was about to go to England. And I prayed, I actually prayed, oh Lord, we have so many women here in Jos whose treatment had stunted. We couldn't go beyond a certain barrier because we didn't have the facilities to offer them this treatment. And so that prayer eventually was answered, very almost like simply, effortlessly, after completing the gynecology studies there in very nice hospitals in England. And so I wanted to now go into this IVF. The first interview, I got a job. The second interview, I got a job. I had to make a choice. Wow. Gratitude to the Lord, not to a human being. But whatever was part of me in my childhood was following me, even to that place, that people wanted me to work with them or work for them. And so it wasn't difficult. And I think that underlines the reality about me. I prayed in Nigeria before going to England. The way was opened by the Lord. When I now rode a high horse in England as a consultant, would I climb down that horse and come home to help these women in Jos that I remember their pains and everything about them and the dead end they were, back to the world situation they were in? Not them, but their type, because those ones would have aged out. So it was a choice between taking the mission back home versus looking after myself in the wider outer world of lack of want, lack of threat, lack of, you know your tomorrow more or less. I chose home. And that's why you hear Dr. Wada, Dr. Wada, Dr. Wada today. He wasn't home for any other thing but what the Lord had allowed to enter my brain. I must bring it home and download it onto more Nigerians to help the women I left in Jos. And oh my God, is it not helping women all over the country now?
It is helping women all over. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, the field of fertility treatment, that area of specialization, like it or not, just as you've also alluded to, infertility is a major problem in Nigeria, especially for the women folk. Now, taking a look at when you brought back your knowledge and experience from the UK to Nigeria, from then till now, what milestones have we recorded? How far have we gone in this battle against infertility?
Well, today, there is light everywhere. Today, there is hope everywhere. And I'm so grateful to God to be part of all that. When I came back in 1994 with this sense of mission, things were more difficult. I was at Gwagbalada, and it was a struggle. Dr. Wada is not a private practitioner. I've been issued. I was on the healthcare system in England. I came home because I wanted the public sector to have a public sector system that we can train more people to at least understand fertility and infertility and go out to help. So I was at Gwagbalada, but the story is not that easy. When you want to do something in the government system of those days, it was a struggle, bureaucracy and, oh no, take your time. Not for guys from England who wanted things now. So after a while, after 18 months, I now decided that it's either I go back to England, God forbid, or I stay home and help the people I actually came to help in the first place. If the public sector option was not available,
maybe you should try the private
go for me, it's available. This is the private sector. And that's the whole reason why I ever sat in a place saying, look, are you trying to have a baby? I know I can help you. The first two couples that came to meet me in that situation, pregnant. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a word. It's a word coming from heaven. Don't go anywhere. Stay home and help your people. And that's why I'm still here till today. Talking of historic feats, sure, Baby Hanatu by any definition is a feat, especially where God gave her to us in Gwagwalada. Exactly. It's not the most modern city. It does not compare to Manchester or Cambridge in any way, whether all the amenities or whatever. But I must recognize the professors who brought the, the in vitro fertilization technology to Nigeria. Two names that must never be forgotten by the conscience of Nigerians and of the medical world. Professor Osatogewa Osage, Professor Ashiru. Without them, I probably would not have heard of IVF to pray to go and learn it and bring it home. They've also had their successes, maybe not as celebrated as Hanatu because of the circumstances under which they succeeded. Yes. But yes, I thank God for what he has used me to do. He's opened up the science. He's torn all the barriers on it. And you learn, you take it forward. You do better than me, please. I beg, because I cannot be best in everything. So those people must be remembered. They must be honored in this country all the time. Yes, Hanatu came. This was the most emotive thing. Yes. And the government of Sani Abacha, actually, may so rest in peace, and Sam Moma, may so rest in peace, they took it up because then they were like, technology is power. And here's a young man in Gwagwalada who's brought some technology home. They then helped to propagate the story of Hanatu. And from then came twins, not far, because I started hearing, oh, don't do IVF because it's only girls you get and you will never have twins. So the next set was twins, boy and girl. So I'm like, what next are they going to say? All sorts, you know. But we stood the grounds, and then, of course, triplets came. Those were the days when a woman has triplets, we will be celebrating. Yes. And I will never forget our first triplets, because that was the day some people decided to, make me feel bad for coming home. But, the triplet story was a good story then, so I'm like, I wish they knew what the good news is today. But again, you don't expect someone like me to sit here with what is behind me without the knocks and so it was natural. Having said that, talking of higher order births, today is not an acceptable consequence of IVF.
It's not.
In the olden days, you had twins, you have triplets, we are clapping. Today, we don't even want to hear twins, never mind triplets. So I think the listeners need to be aware. What was celebrated before doesn't have to be celebrated now. The reason is those twin pregnancies are difficult pregnancies. Triplet pregnancies even more difficult, not to talk of quadruplets, and so on. So we try to avoid them. The other thing we did that marked us out is the achievement of a frozen embryo baby. Nobody had done that before us. That we froze embryos for a couple who had circumstances that didn't allow them to have their fresh embryos put together. And then 4 months or so later, they came back and we thawed out the frozen embryo, implanted, and the first baby named after me was born. It was, of course, successful. The first baby from frozen embryos was born. This was 2001, and the baby's name is Ibrahim. So just to make the point. So many other things have come. I knew that the test tube baby technology can help couples who are both AS and they're afraid of having sickle cell SS babies. So I've been pursuing that since 2005. But the technology domesticated with us in Abuja here, I think about 3-4 years ago only. Wow. So you can imagine how much sweat. Before then, we would take a sample of their embryos and send abroad. I was always working. How can this thing come to the soil of Nigeria? Well, we've gone beyond that now. Many diseases that you're afraid you might carry to your child, they can be diagnosed in Abuja at embryo level, and so your pregnancy will not be affected. Again, a first. Again, a first. Yes. There is no group in this country at this moment, as we are speaking, who can say, I will biopsy an embryo, take it to a lab in Nigeria, test, and give you the report. But
to God be the glory.
We are doing it.
That's a major feat, I must say.
Big
especially time. That of the sickle cell, the challenge of, the sickle cell.
It's an African thing.
Yes.
So there's more discoveries on it that we are pursuing also. Hopefully we can cross that before we cross over to the great beyond. I don't know. What God has allowed me to do today, if the angels come, I'm saying to them, thank you, God bless you for the time you've given me. But if they give me more, I will be grateful more.
There is no gainsaying that you have achieved milestones in the area of fertilization in Nigeria. I mean, we cannot overemphasize what you have been able to bring to the table. But I also know that being who we are, the society we have found ourselves, several challenges abound to the success or otherwise of in vitro fertilization in Nigeria? I know that one of such is the myth that surrounds in vitro fertilization on its own. Take us through some of these challenges, because I know you can't exhaust everything.
Thank you so much. I think the key stigma or myth is that, hey, look, a baby born from the test tube baby, the way they understand, is going to be artificial. It's not real.
Is the baby real?
And the baby is going to be put in a test tube, and you come and say, oh, he's growing well after 6 months, 7 months. That myth is totally wrong. The listeners need to know, A, that it's a mixture of the sperm of the husband and the egg of the wife, made by God, each of them. We are just people bringing them together. More like you will introduce a couple, man and woman, say, look, may God make you fall in love. That's what we are doing to the sperm and the egg. And they are falling in love or becoming an embryo or the basis of life is totally God-dependent, not human-dependent. The continuation of the life of that baby, they stay in the scientist's hands for 2 days, maximum 5 days, good enough to distinguish what seed is good or not good, to plant back into the womb of the mother. And again, all the doctor does is transport into the womb of the mother, and then you're done. Almost like these people, the farmer that plants a seed in the soil, he has to go, he cannot determine nothing after that. He can't say, be this or be that. So the incubation of that baby is actually in the mother's womb by the angels and by the Lord Almighty. And it is not the doctor. So we can't be at fault. In other words, the chance that the baby is going to be born totally normal, the chance that the baby is going to be very intelligent, the chance that the pregnancy is good, all of that, if you compare IVF babies with naturally conceived babies, there is no difference. The main issue is that when you put more seeds in a woman, she has a higher risk of twins or triplets, as you've been saying. Yeah, that's all, multiple births. And that carries its own issues, which is why I'm saying is not in the vogue now anymore. It used to be. So other than that, it is the myth of infertility that I think IVF has most destroyed. It is a woman's problem. My wife can't get pregnant. And so the coming of IVF and people seeing the reality as working, so it's both men and women that can be affected. These problems can be solved. So more women are coming forward for fertility treatments now than before. Yeah. So that's a good thing. So none of the myths is surviving. They are all falling apart. A baby that is, an embryo that is frozen, maybe for years, and now brought back to life and put in a woman's womb, is that going to be normal? Answer is yes. It doesn't carry any higher chance of abnormality. By the way, the first baby in our own hands, Hanatu, finished with first-class degree, and many outside the country. So many that I'm hearing, oh, my child is first in school, my child, I'm grateful to God. And I have no reason as a practitioner to doubt the naturalness of all IVF babies.
In the area of technological advancements, how have we fared so far? Considering the fact that, okay, the issue of sickle cell, for instance, perhaps you're the only one who's able to do that yet in Nigeria. So how have we fared so far?
I think that the potentials of Nigeria, is so vast and so possible that I think is an elephant that is taking a step slowly. Otherwise, if we could do what I've said, the sickle cell selection process is a zenith of technology. And who are the people doing it? Nigerians now. And what resources have they amassed to do it? Nothing, more or less. So if you look at who we are as a nation and what the possibilities are, I dare say it won't be long before we hit the moon. If only we have faith. If only we have faith in ourselves, not just wake up and say, oh, this table is imported, that one is imported. Faith means can we do for ourselves? And that is where the disconnect is. So it's easier and cheaper to get something, buy something and move on with your life rather than the backbreaking work. This work we did was from 2005.
Yeah, so you said.
We brought all sorts of people in to help and sometimes crash, and then we pick ourselves up again. Until now, it's so solid, it's like the back of the hand. And I salute the scientists that are doing it in this country. If others then believe in ourselves, they wouldn't still be sending samples out of the country.
Yes.
More samples are leaving Nigeria for this sickle cell test than come to us because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't have faith. Why him? Why not me? White people don't do that.
They will celebrate themselves.
They will surround themselves and say, how did you do it? I want to learn and do it better than you. Okay, come to my lab. I'll train you. And then you go. If you are better than him, he's very happy, like I'm doing. So I have tried my best to set an example in that light and say to Nigerians that, look, I have been training for as long as I overcame all the Nigerian problems against that technology. I've not stopped. Even to the extent that we have a formal training program for the West African College of Surgeons. These are the ones producing most of the gynecologists for West Africa. And a training program under their collaboration that produces certified fertility experts and IVF experts under yours truly's watch. What an honor. Instead of saying, lock the door, nobody comes near here, we've opened it. That's why the rest of the world did it. That's how they have, they've opened up. Yes, I'm not alone in the country, but we are few who have the courage to say, what I know I must share. Very few. Because they're looking, not that life is a short period, they think it's finite, and what you keep is for you and your family. False. It's what you give that's even more for you and your family. That's my belief. So I want to appeal to us, 200 million of us. There is nothing, there's no mountain we can't climb. You know when they sang that, no mountain high enough, no valley deep enough, it's about us. And I want leadership to set the example, senior people to set the example. Nigeria can, Africa can. That's my motto in life. Nigeria can, Africa can. And when I say Africa can, I'm talking of people with my kind of skin color.
With black skin.
Believe in yourselves. Believe you can do it. At Gwagwalada, if test tube babies can be made in Gwagwalada, anything can be made in Nigeria.
Yes, anything can be done.
Anything can be done in Nigeria.
Now, infertility, with all that you've been able to achieve, the milestones you've recorded, infertility is still a major issue in Nigeria. And I keep wondering, what is it about infertility? Because even though I might not have the exact statistics, but hardly will you put 10 couples together and not find one that is dealing with infertility, either from the woman or from the man, or just natural like that. And I'm wondering, what is it about infertility? Why do we have such a high rate of infertility in Nigeria?
One of the reasons, and I can put the statistics for you, it varies from one part to the other, one study to the other. On average, 1 out of 6 couples in this country can't have a baby when they want to have one. So that's like almost 20%. Yeah? It's high because the world average is only 10%. So there's a natural fertility issue. Why? People are coming out of their shadows now to the fore to say, help me, because I've seen you help that couple, you help that one. Unlike before, when we all sat in the home doing vigils, making all sorts of confessions and all that, we've passed that stage now. So people are ready to confront it because there's a solution, and they are seeing solutions in society. So it gives that false impression that suddenly everybody is infertile. Having said that, our infertility issues are a little bit higher than what I saw in England when I was working there. And the reasons are because we are not so protected against sexually transmitted diseases, some. We are not protected against fibroids. We are also suddenly delaying fertility, yeah, because you must go to school. Any child born now, the parents will expect a certain standard of you. And so these things are all working together. The effects of on both men and women. Please, people, it takes two to tango. When you're talking of STIs or sexually transmitted infections, it's not just the woman. It can affect the man as much as it can affect the woman. So I think these are some of the reasons that I think it seems we have a higher rate of people who are suffering from infertility. Some of the things that prevent infertility, we don't have the options of using them. One of the key things is you cannot be a child of 15 or 16 in England, for example, without a thorough schooling about sexual reproductive health. Protect yourself. So to them, using protection is ABC, is everywhere. But here we connote it and say, look, say no, but you also know not many people can say no in reality. We must cover for them. Either you say no or you must protect yourself. I'm talking as a doctor, I'm not a priest here. Because I've seen the consequences of unwanted pregnancies, infections of all sorts, and this. And nobody deserves that, because it can cause problems, you know.
Later in life.
You don't find that abroad, because they are open with their parents, and it is allowed to discuss these things. All right?
Now, still talking infertility and fertility treatment here. Like it or not, as available as it has become, how accessible is it in terms of naira and kobo?
Thank
we
you
know
very
that
much.
infertility treatments, in vitro fertilization is quite expensive.
I think this is the most important question today. What did I say? I came home to make public IVF, public fertility, so that it can spread like wildfire. I told you what stunted it and why my dreams had to be realized the way it was, through private effort. So I crossed over from Gwagwalada to the National Hospital, because Gwagwalada wouldn't work at that time. And that was in fact, that was the reason I gave them at the interview. I can do this for the country. I shed tears when the first IVF baby was born at the National Hospital.
Okay.
We have a live birth under my watch there. But it came too late, more or less, because this guy came to Nigeria in 1994. The first baby from IVF in a public sector was born 2007. Add it. Where would you do that in this world, for God's sake? I shed tears. I think I did the scan, and I said, for me, my dream has been realized. I didn't come here to make money from anyone. I came to help. And everyone close to me understands that this guy is not a businessman. It's just that how else could I have achieved and stayed back home, if not what I did? So no country that I know that wants to achieve progress can bring a brain home. 1994. Okay, baby Hanatu was born 98, this and that. Many, many children have been born then. The Nigerian wouldn't even want it in government anymore, but I persevered. But do you know, I will tell you a secret today. Not only was I nearly killed for being bold to break the jinx like that and help those who you're talking about who cannot afford, but I was taken to the security agencies. He's corrupt. He's the most corrupt Nigerian on earth. I'm like, excuse me? That's where I got my OON from. Because the EFCC, the, what do you call it, SSS and all that, I was like, it's not me you're looking at, it can't be me. But when they found out that this is another level of a human being, they said, look, I guess they then said, this guy deserves to be honored. If not, I'm not a politician. I don't pray to be one. How did I get the OON, if not
Yes, because
for
of
the
broken
sweat?
barriers.
That's right. We were thoroughly investigated. So this man has his own IVF unit. It's the only IVF unit in the northern part of Nigeria. He says no, he must put the technology in a national hospital to benefit more people, and you want to kill him and bring him down? Why? How? How can we all progress if we think like that? I thank the Almighty God that saved me with my life and saved me from disgrace in the security agencies, and I praise them for standing by the truth. They had searched it and said, no, we are not going to be biased. This is the reality. I guess it's them that said to Chief Obasanjo, this man deserves to be honored as a Nigerian. why am I saying this to you? We must stop. We must change our ways. We must feel for our national. Nobody, Cameroonians won't come here to help you, nor any other nationality. Then one of you came, gave his comfort and everything, and came here saying he wants to help, innocently. And you're plotting behind how to kill him, how to get him down. Who to praise but the Lord? I would be dead by now from the consequences of wanting to say, because I don't know their exact reason for wanting to take my life, but they came for it.
Wow.
Oh yes, they did.
Wow.
But thank God, you know.
So what you're saying in essence is in vitro fertilization can be done cheaper and made more accessible.
Absolutely, and the key is when you put it in public, because if you put it in private, you can't buy aspirin for 10 naira and say you want to sell it for 5. You need government subsidy for that. You can't pay the NEPA bill of 1,000 and say, no, I'm going to charge 5. You will crash. You will not help the people. And that's the only reason why private sector is more expensive than public sector. What comes out of your pocket is subsidized. It's not cheaper. Let's not deceive ourselves that government can do it cheaper. Government can do it in a subsidized way. But our people need to even learn that. Yeah? So we decided that it must be in the government first, because I realized it is an expensive bait. Not everybody can afford it. So yes, government. And then, okay, the government too has its issues, bureaucracy, attitude, and all that. I then championed the public-private sector. Okay. I'm proud to say at least Garki Hospital is here for all to see. The IVF there is almost a third cheaper than it is in my hands at NISA, because NISA wants to say to those who want to go far to go and do this, no, 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 everything you want to get in London is here.
It's here, so you can come here.
That's that, and to make it like that, you don't need a huge crowd of nowhere to sit and all that. So we cannot ignore those who must go out and the loss in the economy to that. So we must provide for them, and I'm happy that I'm the one human being in this country now, private, IVF, fertility, public, IVF, fertility, and then public-private IVF, fertility, all successful. Glory be to the God.
And I'll want to take you along the lines of that particular conversation, because I know that you champion medical tourism. Just as you mentioned a few minutes ago, that not taking away the fact that we know there are some Nigerians who would want to go out of the country for this treatment. But in terms of medical tourism, I'm sure that you're not just being microscopic about it. You're not being myopic in looking at just Nigerians. Do we have what it takes to offer in vitro fertilization as a form of medical tourism to other nationals who might want to come into Nigeria?
Yes, I think that that's one arm that Nigeria has succeeded, at least under my watch.
Okay.
A lot of people come from England. I was trying to get you the figure. A lot come from Europe to come and do their IVF in Nigeria. Most of them are Nigerian citizens, but quite a few are foreign nationals who are living in those climes. Yes. Maybe they are Egyptians, maybe they are Ethiopians, maybe they are other, mixed. And even the expatriate community here, they have confidence in what we're doing because they follow too. So Nigeria has broken the band in terms of attracting people from outside the country to come and do IVF on her soil.
And you have done that at Mr. Premier.
Oh, God, I'm trying to wonder how long ago, 2001, 2002, that it started as a growing thing. COVID now collapsed it, but it's picking up again. We are getting calls almost every day from people in Europe and all that. They gladly come, but we are celebrating twins. I even signed a congratulatory letter for twins in England.